Chapter 11 The number one playboy in the capital, wants to serve the court. You are listening at novelfull.audio. King Qiong and Princess Xiuning, requesting an audience, a chamberlain announced quietly, and they entered the main hall side by side. They both looked surprised to see a frail, gray-haired old man standing nearby. Son greets father. Your Majesty. After their greetings, the old man inclined his head slightly towards Ning Fan, Your Highness, King Qiong. Ning Fan nodded in acknowledgement, while Emperor Yu, seated on the throne, was intrigued. His son never visited the palace uninvited. What was this, and with Princess Xiuning, no less? Could it be about Fengxiang Tower? Ning Fan, Xiuning, what brings you here today? Your Majesty, Princess Xiuning said, King Qiong has developed a new military training method. After testing it within the palace, it proved effective. Implementing his method could increase the Dayu soldiers' combat effectiveness by 20%. What? Emperor Yu's face turned serious. Lin Qiushi, at his side, looked shocked, glancing at Li Xiuning in disbelief. Princess, this is no joking matter. Father, Ning Fan said, stepping forward. He produced a scroll from his sleeve. Here is a detailed explanation of the method. Please, take a look. An old eunuch retrieved the scroll and presented it to the emperor. Emperor Yu didn't open it immediately, but fixed his gaze on Ning Fan. Second brother, you've never even set foot in a military camp. How did you learn about soldier training? Your Majesty, Ning Fan replied, while I've never been to a military camp, I've often listened to storytellers at the theater recount battles. After much thought, I applied these principles in training the guards at my residence. The theater? Storytellers, Emperor Yu's face darkened. Alright, he said, let's see what revolutionary method you've concocted that has even the princess vouching for you. He slowly unrolled the scroll and scanned it. His eyes widened, and surprise flickered across his face. These simple exercises, they can really build the soldier's strength? Interesting. Princess, are you certain this method is more effective than our current training? Absolutely, Your Majesty. Li Xiuning replied firmly. I had my own troops test it before coming here, and it works. Furthermore, according to His Highness, the method isn't perfect yet, and he hasn't even implemented some of his ideas. Oh. Emperor Yu glanced at Ning Fan, a smile playing on his lips. Second brother, is that true? Your Majesty, Ning Fan said, I've never led soldiers, nor have I participated in their training. Some ideas remain untested. The method in your hands is far from what I envision. Emperor Yu's eyes gleamed. His usually dim-witted son seemed different. His temperament was less eccentric, and his eyes held no fear. Your Majesty, I request permission for King Qiong to participate in new recruit training and to be granted the authority to train soldiers. I want to test his method in the army to see if it is truly feasible. Emperor Yu's face remained calm, his eyes steady. Is this your idea, or your brother's? Father, it's mine. Oh. A playful look crossed Emperor Yu's face. What's this? No more visits to the pleasure houses for you? I still go, Ning Fan blurted out, then, seeing a flicker of anger on the emperor's face, quickly added, but, I also want to shoulder my share of responsibilities. As they say, the fate of the nation is everyone's concern. As a prince, I receive a salary from the court and am supported by the people. Of course, I want to contribute to the country, serve the court, and benefit the people. Only then can I live up to your expectations. Silence fell over the hall. Even the old eunuch beside the emperor was stunned. Was this really the second prince speaking? The biggest playboy in the capital, wanting to serve the court and benefit the people. Unbelievable. Fate of the nation, everyone's concern. Well said. Looks like the sun rose in the west today. Our silly son has finally grown up. Emperor Yu smiled. It's rare to see you wanting to do something serious after all these years. I'm impressed. Ning Fan looked surprised, but when he heard the next sentence, his face fell. As long as you don't make trouble for the people, you can do whatever you want. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Your Majesty. They both bowed respectfully. Ning Fan heard the system notification in his mind, and his smile deepened. Father, we'll take our leave now. Very well. Go on. Xiuning, keep an eye on him. If King Qiong dares set foot in those places again, I authorize you to use military discipline. Understood. Li Xiuning looked at the playboy beside her, raised her fist, and said innocently, just following orders, don't blame me. Father. Ning Fan stopped, turned around, looked at Emperor Yu on the throne, and smirked. Fengxiang Tower has some new top performers. Their figures and voices are incredible. If you find yourself free, maybe we could go together. The imperial study fell into an eerie silence once more. Lin Qiushi looked momentarily stunned, then lowered his head, trying to suppress a smile. Li Xiuning watched Emperor Yu's face carefully. Insolence. Emperor Yu grabbed the inkstone on the desk and threw it at Ning Fan, yelling, I'll beat you to death, you useless thing. Ah! Father, I'm just kidding. Kidding. Seeing Emperor Yu charging toward him like a wild beast, forgetting all imperial decorum, Ning Fan ran, shouting, Father, I was wrong. Someone, stop him. Ah! Hey, that hurts. Not the face, Father. After being personally beaten by Emperor Yu, Ning Fan looked like a beaten rooster, muttering, if you don't want to go, I won't go. Why the need to hit someone? After all, you are the ruler of a nation, but you only have so much ambition. I understand that you have been working hard every day and want to take you out to relax. My filial piety can be learned from heaven and earth, as well as from the sun and the moon. Why don't you appreciate it? Seeing Emperor Yu's face reddening again, Ning Fan bowed quickly and said, I'll take my leave now. Get out of here. Following Emperor Yu's roar, Ning Fan walked out of the hall, dejected. Lin Qiushi watched Emperor Yu's expression, bowed slightly, and said, Your Majesty, calm down. His Highness just has a mischievous personality. Humph. Emperor Yu sat back on his throne, watching the departing figure. The anger on his face faded. No one has ever dared to joke with me like that. He murmured. That kid used to be so submissive. Why so bold today? The headliners at Fengxiang Tower. A hint of curiosity flickered in Emperor Yu's eyes, and he looked at Lin Qiushi. Xiang Lin, are the headliners at Fengxiang Tower really what the second brother said? Ahem. Chapter 12 Special Summoning Card, Shen Wansan, the richest man in Ming Dynasty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn, you're brutal. Serves me right for acting up. Got my butt kicked for nothing. But hey, I finished the system task. Ning Fan's face lit up. He opened the system to check his progress. Congratulations, Master. Task complete. Soldier training, rewards, recruit training outline, soldier summoning card, and 500 merit points, first system task completion bonus package awarded, task rating, A, awarding an advanced lottery ticket. The system chimed with rewards, catching Ning Fan by surprise. Unexpected bonus. System, open the bonus package. Congratulations, Master. You have received, special summon card, ancient wine brewing technology, and refined salt purification method. Special summon card. Ning Fan was intrigued. What's this thing do? Just as he was about to ask, the system explained, the special summon card summons extraordinary talents from history. Special talents? For example, Zhang Zhongjing, Li Shizhen, Lu Ban, Mia Zheng, Yao Li, and others. Got it. Ning Fan hopped into the carriage, excitement bubbling. Head home. As Dian Wei drove, Ning Fan focused, messaging the system, use the special summon card. Congratulations, Master. You have summoned Shen Wansan, the richest man of the Ming Dynasty. Shen Wansan. Ning Fan paused, the man's reputation flooding his mind. A true business genius, his wealth rivaled a nation. He even financed half of Nanjing, though possibly exaggerated, his wealth was undeniable. Unfortunately, success went to his head, and his attempt to fund Zhu Yuanzhang's armies earned him exile, a legendary figure shrouded in myths. Now, as Ning Fan aimed to build his own business empire, the system provided the perfect partner. This was ideal. He had considered Lin Yong, but Shen Wansan was an even better choice. System, show me Shen Wansan's stats. Name, Shen Wansan. Dynasty, early Ming, loyalty, unwavering, combat strength, 67, intelligence, 92, leadership, 73, politics, 55, special ability, cornucopia, an insane ability to attract wealth. Shen Wansan's special ability stunned Ning Fan. He was as valuable as any top general. Where is Shen Wansan now? Master, he's waiting outside the palace. Ning Fan nodded. System, what about this advanced lottery ticket? The system evaluates task completion, S, A, B, and C, corresponding to different lottery levels. I see. Use the advanced lottery ticket. Please wait. A golden roulette appeared, filled with dazzling prizes. A pointer began to spin. Stop. At Ning Fan's command, the pointer halted on a golden space. Congratulations, Master. You have obtained master-level calligraphy, full. Ning Fan felt a surge, calligraphy knowledge flooding his mind. Every style, slender gold, playboy, cursive, official script, and running script, was now imprinted on his brain. A skill reward. Ning Fan was pleasantly surprised. In an instant, he had become a calligraphy master. Interesting. An emperor must be skilled in everything, governance, chess, calligraphy, and painting. The palace was a short ride away. Arriving, Ning Fan saw a plump, prosperous-looking man waiting outside. As the carriage stopped, Ning Fan stepped out. The man rushed forward, bowing respectfully. Shen Wansan, reporting to your highness. No need for that. Ning Fan studied the man. He radiated business savvy, his eyes sharp and confident. Let's talk inside. Ning Fan, eager to skip the summoning formality, led Shen Wansan into the mansion. Money makes the world go round, and Shen Wansan was his future money maker. Servants watched, surprised to see the prince personally escorting a stranger into the palace. A new VIP was coming. They sat in the pavilion. Ning Fan said, Wansan, I'll have the head butler give you all the gold and silver in the mansion. I need a business up and running within 2 weeks. Can you handle it? Your Highness, how much gold and silver are we talking about? Ning Fan paused, rubbing his nose sheepishly. He had no idea. Lin Yong handled those matters. Your Highness, you're back. Speak of the devil. Lin Yong arrived, bowing. Uncle Lin, perfect timing. How much silver do we have? Silver. Lin Yong's face showed embarrassment. Your Highness, less than 1,000 taels of gold. Huh. That's it? Your Highness, you've spent at least 10,000 taels of gold at Fengxiang Tower this year. Without the shops, we couldn't even pay the servants. Oops. Ning Fan was speechless. What are the shops worth? The shops were a gift from the Queen Mother. Don't do anything rash. Just give me a number. The shops are in prime locations, they're worth at least 10,000 taels of gold. Your Highness, no need to sell them. Let me take over. Lin Yong frowned. This stranger was already eyeing the shops. Was he a con artist? Wansan, forget the shops for now. I have some wine recipes. Get some craftsmen and start brewing. Wine recipes. Don't underestimate these. In a year, they'll make us the richest in the world. Whoa, Lin Yong gasped. Shen Wansan's eyes gleamed. He took the recipes seriously. Your Highness, I'll handle this. Remember, these recipes must be kept secret. Understood. Chapter 13 The 18 Riders of Yanyun, the famous General Qin Shubao of the Tang Dynasty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shen Wansan took off with the wine recipe Ning Fan gave him, and Lin Yong had rounded up all the herbs for that ancient body-tempering formula. But Ning Fan had bigger fish to fry right now. System, activate the troop summoning card. Initiated. Please stand by, that the troop summoning card in the system interface shimmered and transformed into golden light. Ning Fan's anticipation grew. This card could potentially summon forces straight out of a novel. Could he actually get the Baoyang Snow Dragon Cavalry? Even if it was a historically renowned unit, the question would remain, what kind of chaos would ensue if any of history's top fighting forces, Yufei's Beiwei army, the Iron Eagle warriors from the Qin Dynasty, the Tang Dynasty's Black Armor Cavalry, or Wei Wu soldiers, appeared in this new world? Congratulations! You have summoned the 18 Riders of Yanyun. The 18 Riders of Yanyun. Ning Fan was visibly stunned. He recalled what he knew about them from history. They were a band of 18 warriors, clad in dark attire, complete with scimitars, masks, and black scarves that hid everything but their eyes. They wore long black cloaks and daggers sheathed in their boots. Armed with massive bows and a quiver of 18 arrows each, they also wielded full-moon scimitars. Rumor had it that each of these riders could take on 100 men and had spilled thousands of lives. Their every appearance was said to bring a storm of blood. System, where are the 18 Riders of Yanyun now? They are currently positioned outside the city. When you require their services, they will come to you. A flash of surprise crossed Ning Fan's face as a bone flute materialized in his hand. One blow, and the 18 Riders of Yanyun would be at his side in a heartbeat. Good. Keeping a low profile is key for now. This way, I can build my strength without drawing too much attention. First things first, though. I need to find a way to secure a few salt mines. The Dayu Dynasty doesn't have a tight grip on private salt, but releasing refined salt is bound to cause a stir. I have to tread carefully here. To get my hands on salt and iron rights, I might need to have a word with my father. That's going to be a headache. He couldn't just do things as he pleased, or it would be a lot easier. Luckily, he had Shen Wansan to work with. What can I get for 500 merit points? Ning Fan pondered. He could exchange them for 5 standard summoning cards or 1 premium card. A legendary card cost 1,000 merit points. He was about to head to the military camp to train new recruits. Dian Wei was a powerhouse, but not a leader of men. He wasn't in a position to seek advice from civilian officials either. Ning Fan went with the Premium General Summoning Card. System, redeem a Premium General Summoning Card. Transaction complete. Use now. Use. A beam of light erupted, and a character profile materialized on the screen. Congratulations. You have acquired Qin Qiong, the founding general of the Tang Dynasty. Qin Qiong. Qin Shubao. Ning Fan blinked in surprise. He knew about Qin Qiong from historical novels. Qin Qiong had racked up military victories for Li Tang, and respected the Jianhu Code of Loyalty. Qin Qiong once fought on both sides of the Yellow River and defeated 3 states and 6 countries. After leaving Jianhu, he entered the court. After the defeat of Wagong, he surrendered to Li Tang and was worshipped as General Zhuo Wuwei, and was granted the title of Duke Yi. Name, Qin Qiong, Dynasty, Tang Dynasty, Loyalty, Unwavering, Strength, 96, Intelligence, 81, Leadership, 95, Politics, 87, Unit, Black Armor Cavalry, Weapon, 4-sided Golden Mace, tiger-headed golden spear, mount, Hongxiu Pinulong. Special skill, Pegasus thrust, unique trait, door god, achievement attribute, strength +2. Black armor cavalry. Ning Fan's eyes widened at the sight of Qin Qiong's unit. System, are you telling me that the Tang dynasty's black armor cavalry exists because of Qin Qiong? The unit is the one controlled by the summoned general in his past life. They are not reincarnated into the world with the generals. I see. He'd gotten ahead of himself. Where is Qin Qiong now? He will seek you out within 3 days. Nice. Ning Fan's expression grew thoughtful. With the right to train troops now in his hands, he had a say in new recruit placement. Planting Qin Qiong in the military camp would be the ideal move. Give him an inch, and he'd take a mile. Lin Bo. Here. Get someone to prepare a medicinal bath. I'm going to need it. Yes, sir. As Lin Yong scurried off, Ning Fan flipped through the recruit training manual the system had rewarded him. It covered virtually everything: military formations, physical conditioning, morale-boosting techniques, and even some advanced marching strategies. It was practically a military handbook. If I master this thing, could my leadership score break 70? Ding. New system task triggered. See details for more. The notification startled Ning Fan. He opened the system interface and saw a new mission on the task board. System task, master the art of war. Time limit, 1 month. Requirement, raise your leadership attribute above 70 within 1 month. Reward, photographic memory, Sun Tzu's Art of War, 36 stratagems. Photographic memory. Wow, Sun Tzu's Art of War and the 36 stratagems. I've flipped through those before, but never managed to memorize any of them. Still, raising my leadership to 70 shouldn't be too hard, right? Ning Fan muttered with a hint of uncertainty. If the system was giving him a month, it couldn't be that bad. The higher your attributes, the harder they were to improve. For example, after a top-tier hero's strength hit 90, every point became an immense, almost insurmountable challenge. Your Highness, the medicinal bath is ready. Alright. Ning Fan stretched. The morning spearmanship practice and his beatdown at the hands of the Emperor Yu had left his bones aching. He saw the steaming bath with its fragrant aroma. Ning Fan tested the water, stripped down, and plunged in. The sensation was intense. Every pore on his body seemed to constrict. Ning Fan's face flushed, and sweat beaded on his forehead. He felt a warm current coursing through his bones, perhaps even the legendary meridians. After half an hour, Ning Fan luxuriated in the bath, letting the medicinal effects fade. He rinsed off and changed. He stretched again and was surprised to find the soreness had vanished, replaced by boundless energy. He snatched up his spear and started practicing. Chapter 14, Ancient Herbal Bath, Minor Improvement in Spearmanship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing his father start thrashing around again while practicing his spear moves, Lin Yong glanced at the medicine vat, surprised, then turned to Dian Wei and said, "Damn, this stuff is still potent. It hasn't lost its kick yet. You wanna hop in and give it a shot?" Dian Wei just gave him a look, not even bothering to reply. He was too busy watching Ning Fan practice, eyes shining. He couldn't believe how much the prince's spear work had improved in just 1 day. You gain insight while practicing the 13 deadly spears. Experience +3. You gain insight while practicing the 13 deadly spears. Experience +3. You practice the 13 deadly spears. Ning Fan tirelessly swung the spear, memorizing every nuance of the first move. After that medicinal bath, his body seemed to be able to take a lot more. For a solid hour, Ning Fan was lost in his practice. He'd sweated through his clothes, only to have them dry again from the air. Over and over, Lin Yong and Dian Wei just stood there, quietly watching, amazed, especially Lin Yong. Looking at that skinny frame, the kind that looked like it could blow over in a stiff breeze, but stood firm every single time, he'd watched the prince grow up. Always spoiled, born with a silver spoon. Used to get carried everywhere. Now, here he was, putting in the hard work, grinding at his martial arts. Your Highness, maybe you should take a break. Sir, can I get you some water? Ning Fan seemed deaf. He just gritted his teeth, driving himself harder, the spear whistling faintly as it cut through the air. You gain insight while practicing the 13 deadly spears. Experience +3. You gain insight while practicing the 13 deadly spears. Congratulations, Master. You've mastered the first move of the 13 deadly spears. The system notification popped into Ning Fan's head. He instantly relaxed, collapsing to the ground, panting, but with a satisfied grin. System, open the martial arts screen, 13 deadly spears, basic, 1/300. Seeing the skill level on the screen had changed to basic, Ning Fan let out a deep breath. That was rough. He hadn't expected to last this long. He'd figured it would take at least 3 days to reach basic. But thanks to the medicinal bath, he'd done it in 1. Even if it was just the first move, it would probably take at least 6 months to get the entire 13 deadly spears to master level. If my body could keep up, I could just keep training. Too bad I'm so weak right now. I max out after an hour, tops. Looks like I need to spend some time building up my strength in the future. Ning Fan stood up, went into the main hall, and swallowed 20 Lu Wei Dihuang pills. Uncle Lin, go find me some books on military strategy. Military books. Lin Yong looked genuinely surprised, then gave a helpless smile. Your Highness, we don't have a single one in the house. The prince had never been much for book learning. Hated it, in fact. Back when the palace was first built, there had been a library. Every time he messed up, the emperor would have him beaten and then make him copy or recite some classic text in the sutra pavilion as punishment. But then, somehow, the library burned to the ground in an accident. From then on, the prince never touched a book or memorized classics, opting for a wooden board flogging instead. It stung, but compared to the mental torture, physical pain seemed easier to handle. Over time, the prince actually preferred it. A wry smile crossed Ning Fan's face. That's okay, I'll borrow some from Duke Jinggua's mansion another day. Uncle Lin, do you know where the nearest salt mines are to the capital? Salt mines? Lin Yong looked confused. Your Highness, what do you want with a salt mine? I've got a method for refining salt, making it several times purer than the best stuff on the market. What? Lin Yong's expression changed instantly. He gave Ning Fan a long, hard look and whispered, Your Highness, are you serious about this? When have I ever joked with you? Wow! Lin Yong looked stunned. He thought for a long moment and said softly, Sir, I'll go find out right away. But Your Highness, this is big. Be careful. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Ning Fan saw the concern on Lin Yong's face and knew the old guy was afraid he'd get swindled again. Lin Yong hurried off, and Ning Fan, with nothing else to do, opened up the recruit training manual and started studying it. Your Highness, there's a strong guy outside wanting to join us. Oh, Ning Fan's face lit up. Bring him in. Yes, sir. Soon after, a muscular man strode into the hall. Thick eyebrows, big eyes, looked like a hero. Spotting Ning Fan, he stepped forward and bowed. Commoner Qin Qiong, at your service, Your Highness. Qin Qiong. Qin Shubao. A smile spread across Ning Fan's face. He stepped forward to help him up. Uncle Bao, I've been expecting you. How does Your Highness know my alias? Ha! Not only do I know your name, but I also know you're a master with a pair of maces and have serious skills with a spear. Qin Qiong looked bewildered. Ning Fan didn't explain. He just smiled and said, From now on, you're living here. You're coming with me to the military camp tomorrow. Yes, sir. After Qin Qiong bowed, Ning Fan had him put down his gear, and the two sat down. Shubao, the courts raised a new army of 100,000, and I've been ordered to train them. You're coming with me to the camp tomorrow. I want you to join up and make a name for yourself. What do you say? Qin Qiong's eyes lit up. He bowed and said, Your Highness, I'm ready to join the army and serve your cause. Good. Seeing that Qin Qiong understood immediately, Ning Fan grinned. Even though Qin Qiong was loyal because the system summoned him, he still had to talk to him first. Here, take a look at this recruit training manual. Qin Qiong took the book from Ning Fan, curious. Suddenly, his face went still, and he said in surprise, Your Highness, I've read several military texts and have some experience with training soldiers. But the methods in this training manual, I've never heard of anything like them. Think it'll work? It'll work. Qin Qiong nodded firmly. At the very least, this physical conditioning method is several times, maybe dozens of times better than anything the army's using now. Ha! That's what I like to hear. I've still got a few things I don't understand, so I'm gonna need your advice. Now that he had a commander with a command stat of 95 sitting right here, Ning Fan wasn't about to waste this free expert. Chapter 15 New Army Camp. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congrats, Commander. You've studied the basics of recruit training and military tactics. Command value +1. Ning Fan spent the whole afternoon buried in military books. Qin Qiong's guidance was speeding up his progress. At this rate, he might finish the system task in under a month. System, status check, name, Ning Fan, title, second prince of the Dayu Dynasty, King Xianyun, Yuan City's biggest playboy, high roller at Fengxiang Building, head trainer of the 100,000 new recruits, military strength, 44, intelligence, 81, command, 61, politics, 61, magic items, none, mount, none, inventory, Lu Wei Dihuang pills, Suoyang Gujing pills, Jin Kuei Shinchi pills, Wuzi Yenzong pills, ancient body tempering recipe, refined salt purification method, ancient winemaking. Process, skills, 13 deadly spears, novice, summon heroes, Dian Wei, Shen Wansan, Qin Qiong, summon troops, 18 riders of Yanyun. Ning Fan was surprised to see his military strength had jumped by 5 points. Could it be because he'd finally grasped the first move of the 13 deadly spears? Intelligence and politics hadn't changed, but his command value had gone up by 2 points after an afternoon of hitting the books. Hard work pays off. Keep it up, Commander. Ning Fan chuckled, finding the system's pep talk corny. There were plenty of things in life you couldn't muscle your way through. He pulled up the manual for the 13 deadly spears from the system inventory and dove back in. Before he knew it, he was lost in the details. You have reviewed the 13 deadly spears manual, gaining new insights. Experience +1, Ning Fan's jaw dropped. Seriously? This martial arts assist function was insane. He studied silently all night, eventually falling asleep with the manual in his hands, completely exhausted. The next morning, dawn painted the eastern horizon in shades of red and orange, splitting the sky and earth. A bright sun peeked over the horizon, tinged with purple. Shrouded in mist, it was like a shy girl lifting her veil. The first rays hit the Yuan City Tower, then spilled across the blue brick, over the streets, through the courtyards, and onto a slender young man. His spear danced like a dragon, sweat soaking the ground. The sharp whoosh of each thrust and parry filled the air. Eli, did His Highness really just start training? 3 days ago. Wow, Qin Qiong looked on, impressed. As a master spearman himself, he could tell Ning Fan's skill level. He wasn't particularly fast, likely due to a lack of stamina, but his technique was surprisingly good for such a short time. He's mastered the basics in just 3 days. Who knew His Highness had a talent for martial arts? It's a shame he started so late. Otherwise, he could have been a top-tier fighter. Qin Qiong sighed, disappointed for Ning Fan. Little did he know, Ning Fan had a cheat code. Too late wasn't a thing. With enough practice, he'd become a legendary warrior. You practice the 13 deadly spears, gaining new insights. Experience +5. You practice the 13 deadly spears, gaining new insights. Experience +5. You practice the 13 deadly spears, gaining new insights. Ning Fan realized that as he got better at the 13 deadly spears, the experience he got from training also went up, from 1 point to 5. Last night he studied the manual over 10 times, and this morning he practiced the forms even more. After sweating it out for an hour, his clothes were soaked again. Ning Fan felt like he was about to collapse. He turned to Lin Yong. Get the medicinal bath ready. Alai, Shubao, get ready to go. After I shower and change, we're heading to the training camp. Yes, sir. Your Highness, it's getting late. We should get going, Lin Yong reminded him gently. Ning Fan checked the time. Time to go. He changed into a black uniform and walked out of the mansion with Dian Wei and Qin Qiong. Your Highness, Qin Qiong and Dian Wei were in full black armor, looking more imposing than usual. Ning Fan nodded. Let's head to the Duke's mansion first. Yes, sir. Ning Fan decided against the carriage. It would be easier to ride a horse. Besides, he was going to the training camp. He was a general now, and he didn't want to get laughed at the Jinghua mansion. Xiuning was in a general's armor, too, followed by a dozen elite cavalrymen. She looked even more badass than usual. They exchanged a nod and rode towards the west camp together. Xiuning couldn't help but notice Ning Fan, who was no longer decked out in fancy robes and jewelry. He actually looked capable. Who's that? She gestured at the unfamiliar face beside Ning Fan, the one with 2 maces hanging from his saddle, a golden spear in his hand, and a dangerous look in his eyes. This guy was clearly no joke. That's Qin Qiong. He's my personal guard. Personal guard? Xiuning looked surprised, but she didn't press it. Your Highness, when we get to the camp, try not to draw too much attention. Huh, Xiuning explained. Most of the new recruits are from the capital, and you're kind of famous. You don't exactly have the best reputation. She trailed off, realizing how that sounded, but Ning Fan just rolled his eyes. Thanks for the heads up, Princess. I'll keep it in mind. Ha, Li Yan, who was riding next to Xiuning, snickered at Ning Fan's expense. Don't worry, Your Highness. I'll protect you. Drop dead, the group joked and rode on. Everyone was relaxed except for Ning Fan, who was getting tired. After about half an hour, they reached the camp. This is it. Ning Fan was shocked by the sight of the sprawling camp stretching for miles, filled with soldiers and formations. He could practically feel the intensity in the air. Yep, this is the Dayu new recruit camp. Let's go. Chapter 16. Anyone who disobeys will be killed without mercy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. New army camp. The soldiers guarding the village gate saw a group of people riding up and quickly moved to stop them. General Xiuning, reporting for duty to take over the new army camp, by order of His Majesty. Shura, General Li, the guard's face flickered. After verifying the tiger tally, a respectful look washed over him. Who's currently in charge of the camp? Reporting to the general, it's General Chen Fang, Deputy Commander of the Imperial Army. Go notify General Chen and tell him to prepare for the handover. Yes, ma'am. Ning Fan couldn't help but admire Xiuning's efficiency. If she was able to make a name for herself on the northern battlefield, she was obviously more than just a pretty face. Soon, as they entered the camp, Xiuning frowned. Li Yan, go ask if there's any training scheduled today. Ning Fan scanned the area, spotted a tent, and headed towards it. Qin Qiong and Dian Wei followed close behind. Xiuning could hear shouts coming from inside the tent and her expression darkened. Big. Big. Small. Inside, a dozen men were huddled around a square table, yelling. The tent flap suddenly flew open, and 3 figures strode in. The one in the lead had handsome features and was dressed in tight-fitting black clothes, radiating an air of authority. The atmosphere in the tent instantly chilled. Everyone stopped shouting and stared at Ning Fan. "I'm betting big, and it's a leopard." "Open it up," the sergeants breathed a collective sigh of relief, looking relieved. "Damn, you scared me. I thought some general was coming to inspect." A burly guy shot Ning Fan a disgruntled look, then opened the dice cup, looking surprised. He stared at Ning Fan. "Holy crap, a leopard. Brother, you're a goddamn rock star." "Ha ha ha, I win. I win," the wild laughter carried, and Xiuning and the others strode in. When they saw Ning Fan gambling along with them, they frowned, about to speak, but Ning Fan spoke first. "You're gambling out in the open like this? Aren't you afraid of military law?" "Huh," the men's faces froze. They scoffed. "Military law? What military law? The court's forgotten about our 100,000-man army." As he spoke, Ning Fan grabbed the dice cup, scooped up all 5 dice, and shook them expertly as everyone watched with admiration. "Awesome, brother. Didn't expect you to be so skilled at such a young age." "Yeah, if you've got that kind of skill, why join the army?" Ning Fan smiled slightly, glancing around. "Want to learn?" "Hell yeah," Ning Fan smiled as he opened the dice cup, revealing 5 dice stacked perfectly in rows. Only the top die was visible, showing a single pip. The gamblers looked at him in awe, as if he were a god. "You can learn, but first, answer a few questions." "Brother, ask away. If I know it, I'll tell you." "Tell me, is there any training going on in the camp these days?" "Training?" The men looked stunned, then sneered. "Since we got here, nobody's bothered with us. We cook and eat on time, then sleep in the tent." "That's impossible." Before Ning Fan could speak, Xiuning stepped forward. "Where's your commanding officer?" "Commanding officer? We haven't even seen what our commanding officer looks like." "Yeah, the imperial court recruited us and just dumped us here. I've gained 7 pounds in the last month, heh heh." Ning Fan knew there was no point in asking further. "What's your name?" "My name is Qiong." "Brother, you want to take me on as your apprentice?" "Taking apprentices isn't out of the question, but I have very strict requirements." Xiuning saw Ning Fan still joking and said solemnly, "Your Highness, this is a serious matter. The soldiers are so demoralized, gambling openly. There's no military discipline, and that can easily lead to a mutiny. Chen Fong deserves to be punished." "Your Highness." Hearing Xiuning's words, the sergeants in the tent looked at Ning Fan in terror. You're Qin Qiong. Reporting for duty. Take the princess's tiger tally and go beat the drums to summon the generals. I authorize you to act as you see fit. Anyone who disobeys is to be executed without mercy." "Yes, Your Highness." "Your Highness." Xiuning hesitated, looking at Ning Fan. "Shouldn't we report this to His Majesty first?" Ning Fan shook his head slightly, looking at Li Yan. "Li Yan, take my token and the princesses back to Qingyu City immediately. Tell the city defense force to close the city gates and put the entire city on alert." Li Yan glanced at Xiuning, who nodded. He accepted the jade talisman, bowed, and hurried away. The sergeants were terrified. They knelt on the ground, panic-stricken. "Your Highness, please spare us. We're sorry. We won't do it again. Get up." Ning Fan looked at Qiong, his eyes sweeping over them. "I'll give you a chance to redeem yourselves and earn some merit. Take us to the Central Command tent." "Yes, yes." Qiong, his legs trembling, led Ning Fan and his party toward the Central Command tent. "Your Highness, Chen Fong must have heard we're coming." "Will he?" "He wouldn't dare." Ning Fan shook his head slightly, smiling faintly. "Chen Fong probably doesn't have any rebellious intentions, otherwise, he wouldn't allow military discipline to become so lax. However, he's definitely guilty of dereliction of duty. Then why did you send Yenner back to the royal city to report? Just in case. Li Xiuning gave Ning Fan a long look and followed him in silence. The dull sound of war drums echoed through the camp. Figures poured out of the tents, looking confused. War drums. Is the war starting? This is the capital. How could there be a war? Must be just a troop muster, right? In the central command tent, Chen Fang, holding a wine glass and a beauty on his lap, was being fed grapes. He was grinning lewdly when the dull drumbeat startled the beauty, making her tremble. What's going on? Someone go find out who's beating the drums. Chapter 17, The New Army Being Cannibalized, Hongxiu Zhao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A man in armor burst into the tent, whispering urgently, General Li Xiuning, General of the Duke of Jingwa, is here to take command of the new army on the Emperor's orders. They're already in the camp. What? Chen Fang's face paled. Fear flickered in his eyes, and the drunken haze lifted as he snapped, why are you telling me this now? Who let her in? Damn it! Why didn't the Emperor even give me a heads up? This is bad, really bad. Chen Fang slumped onto the command chair, his face ashen. What am I going to do? General, maybe you should tidy up the tent first. After all, you're from one of the top families. Even the Duke of Jingwa won't cross you lightly. Worst case, they'll charge you with negligence. With the Chen family's influence, the Emperor will probably overlook it. Chen Fang nodded slightly, glanced at the woman beside him, and whispered, go hide. I'll have someone sneak you out later. Yes. The woman, terrified, turned to leave, but several figures barged into the tent. The leader, a young man of 17 or 18, smirked at them. General Chen, you really know how to live it up. Ning Fan's eyes landed on the woman. She looked familiar. The one with the red sleeves? He asked tentatively. I've met King Qiong. Your Highness. The woman recognized Ning Fan, the Red Sleeve movement's biggest benefactor, who had once showered them with gold for a certain Red Sleeve girl. Hearing red sleeves, Li Xiuning shot Ning Fan a look of disdain. Typical playboy, spreading himself thin everywhere. Ning Fan, a playful glint in his eyes, turned to the woman. What's your name? My stage name is Qinger. Ah, Qinger. Ning Fan looked at Dian Wei, who stood nearby. Take her back to my place. Don't let anyone touch her. Understood. Dian Wei strode towards Qinger, who, terrified, clung to Chen Fang. General, save me. She's with me. Seeing the beauty at his side, Chen Fang felt a pang of protectiveness. He bowed slightly to Ning Fan. Your Highness, you heard her. Qinger is under my protection now. Your protection? Ning Fan's eyes twinkled with amusement. I'm not so sure about that. Guards. Yes, Your Highness. Arrest Chen Fang. You dare? Chen Fang exploded. King Xianxia, I'm a third-rank general appointed by the Emperor himself. Do you dare lay a hand on me? Before he could finish, Dian Wei swung his massive halberd, knocking Chen Fang to the ground. Li Xiuning's guards rushed in to restrain him. Your Highness, with the army in such disarray, shouldn't we wait until we return to the capital to settle personal matters? Ignoring Li Xiuning's stern gaze, Ning Fan approached Qinger, lifting her chin. Tell me, who sent you? What do you mean, Your Highness? General Chen brought me here. Your Highness, spare me. Qinger looked terrified. Ning Fan drew a sword from Dian Wei's waist, holding it to her neck. Tell me, or you're dead in 3 breaths. Thwack. An arrow pierced through the tent, hitting Qinger squarely in the chest. Ning Fan's expression changed instantly, and Dian Wei, momentarily stunned, grabbed his halberds and charged out of the tent. "Protect His Highness," Li Xiuning's expression hardened. Her elite guards surrounded Ning Fan. Su Chang's eyes gleamed. "Your Highness, I recognize that scent. I'll go after him," he bolted out of the tent. Ning Fan narrowed his eyes, turning to the armored soldiers. "Everyone, stand back. They're not after me." Li Xiuning checked Qing'er's pulse and sighed. "She's dead." "How did you know she was sent?" "Since the beginning of time, heroes are often entangled with women. A red sleeve girl would never be given up without a fight, even if I once." Ning Fan stopped abruptly. "This has to do with red sleeve Zhao. That woman is trouble." He walked up to Chen Fang, crouching down. "Did she tell you to neglect your military duties?" "Yes. Your Highness, all the generals have been charmed by that witch. She was the one who told the general to promote several captains." Chen Fang continued, and Ning Fan's eyes narrowed. "Which captains?" "There's Gue Qi, Kai Kan. And Chen 12. Chu Qi, Zhang Jun, go tell Qin Qiong to arrest those three." "Yes, Your Highness." "Try to take them alive." Ning Fan added the instruction. He looked at Chen Fang. "The Emperor put you in charge of the new army. Where are the other lieutenants?" "They." Chen Fang hesitated. Ning Fan said flatly, "Tell me now, and maybe you can atone for your sins. I'll even plead with the Emperor for you. If I find out myself, the Chen family won't be able to save you." "Your Highness, I threw them all in the dungeon." "That witch was behind it." Ning Fan was speechless. This guy was hopeless. He let a woman control him completely and almost lost control of the army. "Take him away." "Yes, Your Highness." After Chen Fang was led away, Ning Fan turned to Li Xiuning. "Release a few deputy generals to help us take control of the army." "Okay." Guided by soldiers, Ning Fan arrived at a dimly lit dungeon. 3 figures were chained to the wall, pale and weak. Generals Nie Feng, Chai Yu, and Xiu Tianlu. "Yes." "Who are you?" A disheveled man lifted his head with difficulty, a trickle of blood seeping from his cracked lips. "I'm Li Xiuning, and I'm here on the Emperor's orders to take command of the new army. This is King Xianyun." "Dian Wei." Ning Fan nodded to Dian Wei, who raised his double halberds and smashed the wooden cage. Splintered wood flew everywhere as Dian Wei chopped through the chains. Soldiers rushed forward to help. "Thank you. Your Highness. Chen Fang deserves to die." Chapter 18 Li Xiuning's Conjecture. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the school field, Qin Qiong stood tall on the general's platform. The war drums rumbled as armored figures assembled below. A group of newly appointed generals stood beneath the platform, their eyes fixed on the imposing figure above, murmuring amongst themselves. "Who is that guy? Never seen him before in the new army." "Yeah, he's a total stranger." The new army had just been recruited, and the camp had only been established a few days prior. Almost all the mid-level officers were temporarily reassigned from the Imperial Guards. They mostly knew each other, but the man on the platform was a complete unknown. All eyes were glued to the figure on the platform. 2 maces hung at his waist, and an aura of self-reliance emanated from him. Under his gaze, no one dared meet his eyes. General Qin Qiong, by order of King Xianyun, is here to temporarily take command of this military camp. The generals below erupted in whispers. "King Xianyun. Isn't he that notorious playboy prince from the capital?" "General Qin, we take our orders from Commander Chen Fang." "I doubt His Highness King Xianyun has any say here, right?" Qin Qiong slowly produced a command talisman from his robes and boomed, "By the Emperor's decree, I hold the tiger tally. From this moment on, I am in charge of this camp. Anyone object?" "No objection." The captains, seeing the tiger tally in Qin Qiong's hand, snapped to attention. The vocal dissenters immediately clammed up and snapped off a crisp salute. General Qin, .2 figures sprinted forward, addressing Qin Qiong, General, the prince orders the arrest of Gui Qi, Kai Kan, and Chen 12. All the captains turned to look at the three men whose names had been called. Their faces paled. A burly man stepped forward, roaring, "What's the meaning of this?" "General, even with His Majesty's military talisman, the army has rules. You can't just arrest us without a reason, right?" "Yeah, we deserve an explanation. We haven't committed any crimes that we know of. Why are we being targeted? If we don't get an explanation today, we'll fight to the death." The three men were visibly angry, but panic flickered in their eyes. The other generals watched with detached interest. These three weren't from the Imperial Guards, Chen Fong had promoted them. They held back, waiting to see what Qin Qiong would do. Qin Qiong, hearing that it was Ning Fan's order, simply looked at the generals below and commanded, "Take them into custody." The surrounding generals and captains drew their swords with grim faces and moved to subdue the three men. Qin Qiong's eyes gleamed. Even surrounded by over 10 seasoned soldiers, the three men fought with skill, even gaining the upper hand at times. They were clearly not ordinary soldiers. "Come on, guys. Do you have to be so rough with your fellow officers? Qin Qiong is attacking us for no reason. He's obviously trying to get rid of anyone who disagrees with him. How can some nobody have His Majesty's tiger tally? This guy must be a spy." Among the three, Chai Yu's eyes revealed desperation. As he fended off the attacks of the surrounding generals, he tried to sow discord. A sneer appeared on Chu Chi's face. "Stop fighting, we know Chen Fong silenced the craftsman, and we're taking out the trash. If you don't want to end up like him, surrender now." "What?" The three men's expressions shifted dramatically, and the surrounding generals realized something was amiss. They turned cold gazes on the three men and attacked without hesitation. "Everyone, stand back!" Qin Qiong leaped from the platform, his four-edged gold maces in hand. Using his momentum, he swung both maces at Gui Qi, the most formidable of the three. Boom! Sparks flew as Gui Qi felt his arms go numb. The broadsword almost slipped from his grasp. He stumbled back several steps to regain his balance, staring in disbelief at the hulking figure with the maces. So strong, the surrounding generals watched Qin Qiong in awe. They had fought with Gui Qi and knew how powerful he was. Qin Qiong waded into the fray, single-handedly overpowering the three and directly suppressing them. His skill was unmatched in the new barracks and probably rivaled the best of the Imperial Guards. With Qin Qiong leading the charge, the three captains were quickly brought down, each with several broken ribs. In moments, Qin Qiong earned the respect of the generals through sheer strength. This was the way of the army: respect the strong and let your fists do the talking. Take them away and keep them under guard. From now on, no one moves without my order. Disobey and face the consequences. "Yes, sir." Inside the command tent, Nia Feng and the other two saluted Ning Fan, their faces full of gratitude. After Chen Fong threw them into the dungeon, they had lost hope. All of their allies had been silenced. "Thank you for saving our lives, Your Highness. No need to be so formal. I should have acted sooner." Ning Fan helped the three men up, just as Su Chong strode in, his armor still stained with blood. He bowed respectfully and reported, "Your Highness, I captured the assassin who fired the arrow." "Really?" Ning Fan was surprised. Even Dian Wei had missed catching the assassin. "Where is he?" "Dead. He had a poison capsule in his mouth." "Where's the body?" "Outside the tent." Ning Fan headed out of the tent, followed by Xiuning and the others. They saw a corpse on the ground with drag marks leading away. Su Chong had obviously dragged the body back. "A recruit?" "Yes, sir." Su Chong confirmed. "The crossbow is standard issue, and his armor is from the new recruits. Investigate his identity." Yes, sir. Ning Fan watched Su Chong leave with a hint of admiration. Even with his flaws, the guy's got skills. Qin Qiong entered, carrying his maces. He saluted respectfully and presented the military talisman. My lord, princess, I've taken control of the new army camp and captured Gui Qi and the other two. Excellent. Ning Fan nodded slightly, glanced at Nye Fong and the others, and said softly, Chen Fong is gone, so we need you three to step up and stabilize the troops. Don't worry, your highness. We won't let you down. Ning Fan smiled, and Xiuning spoke up, shouldn't we report to His Majesty about the camp first? Then, princess, you prepare a memorial and send it to His Majesty. What will you do? I will start training the new recruits. Ning Fan grinned, as cynical as ever, and turned to Qin Qiong, Uncle Bao, take me to the training grounds. Your Highness, the camp is still in turmoil. Maybe we should wait a few days. No need. Ning Fan replied dismissively. The sooner we get this military training thing going, the sooner I can get back to the capital and listen to some music. Everyone was speechless. Xiuning looked at Ning Fan with curiosity. After all this, her perception of Ning Fan had changed. He had handled the crisis with such order and calmness, it didn't seem like the actions of a playboy. Thinking about Ning Fan's life, Xiuning's face grew darker, and she was suddenly struck by the thought. Could King Xianyong's image of a playboy all be an act? Chapter 19 Mission Reward, Random Summoning of Spring and Autumn Assassins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, listen up. We got a mission from the system, Troop Training, 2, ***, here's the breakdown ***, what we gotta do ***, get the basic recruit training methods down pat in all the newbie camps. Then, set up a killer climb the ladder system based on skill, times ticking **, you got 3 days, the payoff **, a random assassin from the spring and autumn period shows up, plus 500 merit points. Ning Fan heard the system ding in his head and kept his cool, though he was definitely stoked. This task couldn't have come at a better time, and the rewards. Awesome. A surprise assassin from way back when, plus those sweet merit points. Total win. System, he thought, are system tasks the only way to rake in merit points? And what about those troop summoning cards? How do I snag those? Master, you earn merit points by doing stuff the Emperor digs and rewards you for. Right now, military cards are a random drop from system tasks. But once I level up, you can buy them in the system store. System level up. Ning Fan frowned, ready to dig deeper, when Qin Qiong came striding up. Your Highness, the troops are assembled, and the fighting pit is ready. Let's hit the training grounds. The training grounds were packed with soldiers. War drums pounded out a rhythm. Ning Fan, rocking a loose robe, walked onto the raised platform. He stared at the rows of sparkling armor below, stunned. Even though the formation was sloppy, even though half the soldiers looked bored, there stood 100,000 strong. They filled the whole place, and it was a sight to behold. Soldiers! He shouted. From here on out, Princess Chongming and I are in charge of this new army camp. We'll be running recruit training. This army of 100,000 will be split into 20 battalions, 5,000 men each, led by a captain. The camp erupted the second those words left his mouth. 100,000 guys split into 20 camps. That's never been done before. All the officers looked shocked. There were easily 100 lieutenant colonels in the army right now. Break them down into 20 battalions, and half of them would be out of a job. Your Highness, that's kind of bending the rules, isn't it? Yeah, Your Highness, we got tons of colonels in this new army. If we do it your way, we'll have more chiefs than Indians. Your Highness, maybe you should rethink this. A lot of soldiers were not happy. Ning Fan just smiled slightly, his voice booming across the training grounds. Let me be clear, from now on, I call the shots in this new army camp. If anyone has a problem with that, step right up and tell me. Anyone want to get this started? Ning Fan scanned the crowd. The officers silently shrunk back, glancing around. No one wanted to be the first to speak up. Great. Since no one's got any objections, then listen to me. From now on, all unit commanders, squad, platoon, company, battalion, will be chosen through competition. The best get promoted, the worst get demoted. In this army, it's all about who can throw the best punch. That got the crowd buzzing. A competition to see who becomes the boss. Even Ye Feng and the others looked surprised. Wouldn't that turn the whole camp into a brawl? All officers from lieutenant colonel up, front and center. Before the buzz could die down, Ning Fan gave the order. Figures started marching out of the ranks. Over 100 burly guys lined up in front of the platform, waiting for Ning Fan to speak. You're all vets. So, here's your shot. I'm giving you the chance to pick 20 captains to lead these battalions. Here's the catch, you might have commanded 100 men, maybe 1,000. But now, you get the chance to run a whole camp of 5,000. Here's the other catch, only 20 of you get to keep your captain rank. The rest can try for a centurion spot. If you can't cut it as a centurion, try for a squad leader. If you strike out there, then start as a private and work your way back up. Those words hit the officers like a ton of bricks. Some were happy, some were worried. The strong ones' eyes lit up, the weak ones looked nervous. Your Highness, how exactly do we choose these captains? A beefy guy stepped forward, saluted, and asked. Good question. Ning Fan smiled. It's simple. We settle everything with our fists. After one incense stick's worth of time, you'll all fight it out in front of the formation. The top 20 take the captain slots. Yes, some of the officers cheered, pumped. Guys from poor backgrounds, especially, looked at Ning Fan like he was their new dad. A lot of these captains were from rich families in the capital. Their families got them the jobs as a favor. Some even started as captains right out of the gate. But these poor guys clawed their way up from the bottom, so, when they heard Ning Fan's plan, they were psyched and ready to fight. But don't celebrate too soon. I'm giving you a month. After that, the competition starts again, but this time, it's the whole army. If a centurion can beat you, then you're out. You drop a rank and take his spot. Same goes for choosing corporals and sergeants. The best get promoted, the worst get demoted. We're holding a whole army competition every 3 months. Basically, if you can throw a punch, you can climb to the top, from private to corporal to sergeant, to centurion, to captain, even to general with a royal paycheck. Ning Fan's words got everyone worked up, not just the officers, but the soldiers too. The news spread like wildfire. Man, I've hated our sergeant forever. He ain't good for nothing, but he just bosses us around. Now's my chance to knock him off his high horse. Ha! With my skills, being a centurion should be easy. Sorry, Sergeant, you're getting replaced in a month. The ranks were buzzing. Ning Fan didn't stop them. He let it build until all 100,000 guys understood the rules. Ning Fan watched the growing excitement and winked at Qin Qiong. The latter nodded, stepped forward, and said, "All right, officers, get up here to the platform and get ready to rumble." Chapter 20, First Round of Elimination, Qin Qiong establishes his authority. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Qin Qiong barked out the order, soldiers began to move toward the makeshift platform. Ning Fan had intentionally kept it small, barely fitting 100 people. Now, nearly 200 were crammed onto it, shoulder to shoulder. From this moment forward, all lieutenants will fight on the platform. Anyone who falls off is eliminated. We'll keep going until only 100 remain. The drums will signal the start. Battle begins after 3 beats. The lieutenants exchanged surprised glances. They hadn't expected such a brutal culling right off the bat. Almost half of them were about to be shown the door. Faces ranged from eager to worried. Boom! 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 The dull drumbeats triggered a free-for-all. Almost immediately, bodies tumbled from the platform. The fighting was intense. Qin Qiong watched the chaotic brawl, then, setting down his double maces, he leaped onto the platform himself, personally eliminating the weak links. Most of those who held lieutenant positions in the new army were connected and had some skills. Don't underestimate these sons of privilege. They'd been trained by masters since childhood, many even by veteran generals. Their martial arts shouldn't be dismissed. The battle raged. Opponents locked horns, testing each other, and every few moments, another lieutenant went sprawling off the platform, looking utterly dejected. Some were even carried away, unconscious. Qin Qiong moved through the throng, knocking off more than a dozen in a few breaths, targeting those who were clearly outmatched. Everyone seemed to realize the threat Qin Qiong posed and began to look uneasy. Hey, the rules don't say we can't team up. Why don't we all take down General Qin first? I'm in. Several men, recognizing Qin Qiong as a major obstacle, approached him simultaneously, forming a temporary alliance. Bring it on. Qin Qiong's expression turned serious. He clenched his fists, calmly parrying the combined attacks, seeming completely at ease. Impressive. Seeing Qin Qiong hold his own against multiple opponents, many of the lieutenants felt a surge of respect. They'd seen him in action before, but now they realized just how skilled he was. For what felt like an eternity, more and more joined the fight against Qin Qiong. But instead of pushing him off, he sent several of them flying. 19 more to go, then it's over. 18. 17. Ning Fan stood nearby, quietly counting and calling out the numbers. The fighting grew even fiercer. Those still standing were truly talented. Knowing they were on the verge of securing a spot, they dug deep and fought for their futures. Qin Qiong glanced around, gauging the timing. Then, he leaped off the platform, landing beside Ning Fan, and fixed his gaze on the remaining lieutenants. Well, see any promising recruits? They're mostly third-rate, a few edging toward second. A few good prospects, but they've clearly never seen real combat. Ning Fan nodded slightly. Most of these lieutenants come from the Imperial Guard. They're stationed in the capital and haven't seen war in years. They're nowhere near as tough as the border troops. Alright, that's it. The 100 remaining lieutenants get a short break before the second round. At Qin Qiong's command, everyone on the platform stopped fighting, relief etched on their faces. They might not be guaranteed a captain's position, but they still had a shot. Those who had fallen off wore mixed expressions: envy, disappointment, a touch of resentment. Your Highness, what's the second round? Nye Feng, standing next to Ning Fan, asked with curiosity. Qin Qiong chuckled. The second round is a cavalry battle, another free-for-all. Each person has to eliminate at least one opponent to make it to the top 40. Whoa! Nye Feng and the others looked surprised. They hadn't realized the competition for lieutenant would be this cutthroat. Even though they weren't competing, such a brutal contest made them wonder if they would have been guaranteed victory. For a moment, they all felt uneasy. Now that King Xianyun was in charge of the military camp, what would he do with them? Ning Fan seemed to notice their discomfort. Shubao, he said calmly, above the 20 lieutenants, I'm planning to create 5 general positions, each commanding 4 battalions. Do you think you can handle it? My lord, I won't let you down. Excellent. Ning Fan nodded, smiling. Nye Feng and the others exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Time's up. All lieutenants, prepare for the second round. The cavalry battle to determine the top 40. Begin. Qin Qiong didn't participate this time. The first round had established his authority, there was no need to prove himself again. He watched the lieutenants battling on horseback below. Ning Fan's gaze fell on the horses. Saddles, stirrups, and horseshoes were all in place. He couldn't help but smile wryly. He'd read stories where time travelers immediately introduced those 3 improvements to horses. But those weren't high-tech inventions. These lieutenants don't seem very skilled with cavalry. Your Highness, the Imperial Guard isn't known for its cavalry, and there are fewer than 1,000 horses in the new army anyway. Cavalry warfare isn't a strength for anyone here. I see, Ning Fan thought for a moment. Since it's a new army, we can't be without cavalry. I'll go back to the palace tomorrow and ask my father to allocate more horses and train more soldiers. Xiao Tianlu smiled sadly. Your Highness, Dayu has been at war for years, and horses are in short supply. The 1,000 horses in our camp were funded by the Qin family. Oh, Ning Fan looked suspicious. Nia Feng explained, Your Highness, the Qin family owns a horse farm in Jiangnan, one of the main sources of military horses for Dayu. A military horse farm. A glint of surprise lit up Ning Fan's eyes. So they were one of the great families for a reason, holding such a strategic resource.